Coach.
Give us your perspective. You were here when UCF was, trying to fight in the to get to FBS level and get that respect. To be sitting here today, where UCF about the verge of the Big 12, what's this like for you?
Oh, it's incredible, and you got to understand too. Like, I've been in the SEC for 8 years, so I've been at a high level, but I've always followed you. I bleed black and gold, so it's like you always were like, okay, UCF, keep on going, keep on coming, all through my last 25 years of coaching college football, and to see it continue to grow, and then to see us go win big major bowls and do those things, and to be able to get into a Power 5 conference was a huge deal. And I was talking with a lot of boosters about it, going, we've got to do whatever it takes to get to that level. And this is when I was, in an SEC school. I was at Kentucky, and I'm like, but I was thinking about UCF at the time, going, we've got to get in the Power 5. As soon as that happens, it's going to explode. And then, through the grace of God, I'm here today as the offensive coordinator when we go into the Big 12, and it's I'm excited every single day I go to work. But it's also very personal to me, and I've been trying to get back here for many years, also in this process, and for different reasons in the coaching profession. You got to get with the right, you got to get the right fit, and this is the right fit. And me coming back here and being with Gus and with this staff is the right fit. And every day I don't worry about tomorrow. All I do is worry about today. I'm not worried about the first game. I'm worried about today. How do we finish today the right way? Are we doing what we need to do the right today? And then be able to worry about tomorrow when tomorrow comes. And one day at a time, continue to make this place better, make this offense as good as it possibly can be, and put everything we got into it on a daily basis, because what you do daily is who you become. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to wait and show up at the game. It's what you do daily is who you become, and your routine becomes habit. Your habits become who you become. So I'm excited to see where we were in January when we first went out for routes on air. It made me want to, it was not good. It was a situation that it needed a lot of fixing. And now where we are and what we're doing, and the receivers and the tight ends and the running backs, and you see their detail on how they're catching the ball, and they're tucking it away in all the details. It's going to be exciting. I'm excited every day. I wake up, let's go. So, it's fun.
Prior to the last few years, before there was this buzz that, hey, the Big 12's got some openings, maybe we got a chance. But was there ever a point at where the black and gold you said, this is as good as it gets?
You mean as far as where we were at the time?
Yeah.
No, I always thought we'd go into a Power 5 conference. Mm-hmm. I'm like, we have to go into a Power 5 conference. Which one and what the situation is. And honestly, for me, the Big 12 I thought would be a very good fit. I really did. With our style and who we are. And when you look at the other Florida schools and where they're positioned, the Big 12 needed this market. And it's a huge market. And so I think it was a match that was going to happen down the road. And talking with boosters and with all the people that make decisions, like the Big 12 was something that we could get into and we can go compete. And 100% when it came out, I was like, let's go. This is what it's about.
I know you're not looking past the end of today now because it's camp, but in the quiet moments, you look at that schedule, you just look at the Big 12 in general, you think about, is there any atmosphere, trip, opponent that just really, I can't wait?
Every single one of them is going to, and honestly, I don't focus on that. I really don't. Because every one of them, the road trips we're going to have, and I've been in a lot of those stadiums, the bottom line is they're all going to be unique, and they're all going to have different atmospheres, and it's going to be a packed crowd, and we're going to travel good. I know we are. And, it's going to be an exciting trip. And all I'm worried about right now is, and don't get me wrong, we've already looked at opponents down throughout the whole season, but the bottom line is that you can't get ahead of yourself at all. you know, Kent State came in and almost beat Oklahoma last year. I mean, that's the truth. So, you know, so the bottom line is you just got to, one day at a time, and again, just focus on today, because tomorrow has enough problems of its own, and we know what the future, what we're going to get into, you know, and get ready for today. And Kent State's our first snap that we're going to have, and that's all I'm worried about right now.
How much of Gene McDowell, how much of Mike Kruzek is in your coaching style and philosophy?
Not as much Gene McDowell, as far as he was such a unbelievable head coach, and you know, just managed the game. He managed the games very well, but every head coach kind of has their style, and I'm not a head coach, but I am an offense coordinator. And Mike Kruzek was, you know, he's like my father, as far as, you know, he was my mentor. He was the guy that trained me on how to read coverages and what to look for, and to all the different things as far as offense goes, and trained me all through, you know, me playing. And yeah, he you know, there's a lot of him in me in a lot of ways. I still do the same footwork drills that I did with my quarterbacks, because it made me better. It made me who I was. And so, you know, and I've learned a lot throughout the years of, you know how to coach quarterbacks and drills and all the things and all the different, you know, aspects of being an offensive coordinator, and what to do and how to go attack defenses. And I've been around a lot of great coaches. I've been blessed. But yeah, Mike Kruzek is somebody that will forever, I'll have him always in me forever. So
What is it like coaching, like now being, you know, coaching the Holler boys, who also were coached by Mike Kruzek in high school?
yeah, and I mean, you know, both of them, Alec and Max, are unbelievable kids, and they both give everything. Alec Holler is one of the best leaders I've been around, and you know, in the tight end position is they both play tight end, and it's a hard position, because you got to do everything at tight end, and tight ends are the equalizer, because they're the ones that change gaps, they're the ones that change formations, they're the ones that create a lot of havoc on defenses, and if you don't have good ones, it doesn't matter. So you know, but they're leaders, and yeah, they talk about, you know, Coach Cruz and that whole deal, and there was a different era when they were under Coach Cruz than when I was with Coach Cruz, but for sure they do talk about him quite a bit. So
You have a unique perspective. You played two sports here. You played basketball under Coach Spirall. What was it like for you to see what John Rice did in the spring, practicing, learning the system, but at the same time playing center field at baseball?
Yeah, he did a phenomenal job, you know, all spring. And when I got here, and Coach Malzahn set me down and goes, you know, John Rice is going to be playing baseball, and I'm like, okay, but I mean, you know, he'll just maybe every once in a while play or something like that. He goes, no, he'll be playing baseball. And sure enough, he ended up becoming a starter and the whole deal. And he did a great job. He didn't miss anything. I think he missed, a couple workouts for away games and stuff like that. But besides that, he was over here. He was a leader. You know, we had to maintain to make sure that he could go do what he needed to for baseball. And he had a very good spring. He did. And I knew it was going to start off, because when you transition in your mind and what you have to do as far as your lead shoulder, your target, all the things that I'm telling him, it took time. But he worked on it, and he put his time into football, and then he would go put his time into baseball, and then literally wake up, like go to sleep, and I don't even know how the guy studied or did anything, but now he's a straight A student too. So in seeing that and seeing him when I walked in this building, he's not tired for 1 second, and he's ready to go, and his energy level's through the roof. And it was fun to see him transition all the way to the spring game where he played the baseball game and then ran over, and I knew it wasn't going to match up where he could make it to the beginning of the game, but he came over and did a very good job, had a great baseball game and a very good spring game.
How is Coach Hinshaw different from Darin Hinshaw, the quarterback? If you got to coach Darin Hinshaw, the player, how would that go?
Oh, God, I wish I could coach him. When you're playing the game, it's just, it's so different than from a coaching perspective. Meaning, like, you're living the war, but there's so many things now that I know that I wish I could go back and tell him, and that's what I get to do with my quarterbacks now, which is pretty cool. But at the same boat, you know, Mike Kruzik was a great quarterback coach and really did a good job, you know, with presenting me with everything and training my mind and training my body what to do. But yeah, it was. It'd be fun to go back and coach myself. I would love to go do that. I would really love to go do that. So,
Coach, when you were playing, you know, the fan, we only had dreams of having an on-campus stadium. So what you guys did, the foundation you set, you should be really proud of yourself, number one. Anybody in that time period where your teams you played on, do they communicate with you now and say, hey, Darin, what an incredible situation there at UCF now?
Oh, there's so many guys that I talk to, and so many guys are proud where this is and that we have the bounce house here. And yeah, I mean, we dreamed of, you know, we dreamed of a lot of things at that time. Though we were, you know, we didn't have a whole lot that we have now, like an indoor facility, or, you know, our practice fields weren't right next to our facility. We had a decent walk, and all the things that we have now and that are so special. It's exciting, and you know, yeah, this is a dream come true where we are now. Now, reality of it is you know, we have to continue to build. We have to continue to make this better. We got to continue to keep up with the Joneses and be able to continue to build this, because we have a place and we have the land and we have to be able to build this even bigger and better. And you know, the future looks very exciting where we're going.
The interesting thing is, you know, we've been growing and growing and growing. Now we're getting into this major conference where when we play on the road, we're going to be playing in front of sold-out crowds, loud sold-out crowds. We know how impressive the bounce house can be loud when it's sold out and that stuff. Like running an offense when you are against a real loud crowd, which will probably be experiencing. What time techniques or whatever we're going to be trying to work on to be able to combat sold out crowds?
Well, the first thing you got to do is embrace it, and you got to flip it around and use that as motivation. And you know, hostile environments, you got to embrace it. You got to be a road warrior. We've already talked about that. We've already said, guys, we have to switch gears when we're at home road, and our schedule is where we have a lot of 1 week we're at home, 1 week we're on the road, 1 week we're at home, and you have to switch gears in your mind. And to go into that hostile environment, you have to be able to feed the energy, use the energy in a positive way, and then also be able to quiet the energy down by going and playing well, and not let the environment affect us and play differently than we do at home. And it's going to be 100% the message. But Coach Malzahn, you know, we played in hostile environments before on the road, and we know what we're doing as far as training our kids, and our kids have played in it. You know, we got a lot of players back that have been in hostile environments, and the bottom line is that, you know, you got to be able to go handle it, and then be able to not let that, and I call it like activate the mechanism for the love of the game. Kevin Costner, you got to be able to shut it out and just focus on the glove or focus on the field. You know what I'm saying? Like, he focused on the glove, he blocked out the crowd, boom, he's pitching, and that's how he did it. And I said at quarterback, it's the same way. Like, you have to block everything out, and it's just like we have the same yardage, the same deal that we're at home, and we got to go into that environment and go play football. And it's going to be an exciting, but the home field advantage is always the situation, but we got to go embrace that and use that to our advantage.
Coach, what's the difference between the Rhys Plumlee you first met, like the quarterback that you first met, versus the quarterback that you see now?
I think the number one, confidence, and he had confidence when I met him, but the deal now is that he knows what he needed to do, and he's done it. And has he done yet? No. Is he going to make mistakes? Yes. Is he perfect? No. But he has now got himself into a situation where if I showed you the first practice in spring, or even the first times we threw the ball in January to where he is now, it's like a different quarterback. It's a different quarterback. And that was my goal. And I told him it's going to take time, and he knows it. And now it's going to be just continue to, again, more knowledge of mastering the offense and the defense, and being able to, in defenses, and being able to really finite and continue to detail the position.
What about the rest of the quarterback room? Because as you know as well as anybody, you're one play away from stepping in. So how does the rest of the quarterback look to you?
Yeah, Timmy McClain has improved incredible since spring ball. And he's a different quarterback than where he was in spring football. And the biggest thing with him is trust, and trust me, and trust the system, and trust what we're doing. And when he played at South Florida, there was a lot of ad-lib. And the bottom line is that, you can't do that. You got to go play the position. And he's gotten now where he's getting more vocal, more leadership, and he's focusing on just detailing the position. And you can see it. And he's getting, from day 1 to day 2 to day 3, he is really playing at a good, very high level. He's still got a long way to go, but he is right there where I see him in another 20 practices, and we're going to be okay, Timmy McClain goes in the game, I'm excited. I really am. Xavier Williams got here in June, and he's right now learning the offense, and there's a lot of learning curve for him. It was a different offense that he ran at Charlotte, and he's learning the offense. There's some things that he's got to get better at, and he knows that. I'm very, very pleased with Dylan Rhys and where he's at. As a true freshman, he's special. He's come in and he has impressed me tremendously. You can tell he works constantly off the field, which is what you got to do at quarterback. That's what all the quarterbacks have to do, but he works at it constantly. He's constantly calling me, FaceTiming me. Hey, coach, what about this progression on this play? Hey, what about this? Hey, what about, he's asking questions and he's learning. And so I really like the room. I really, really do. So, in building it, because we have to not only have a second guy ready, we got to have a third guy ready. And that's the way I've always done it. And last year, UCF had to have 3 guys play. So I'm building it just like that. So we're ready to play other quarterbacks and still go out there and go win. And all of them have different attributes that make them click. I would say right now, though, that right now I'm treating them all the same, but we'll game plan based on, again, have a game plan for our backup and a game plan for our third string quarterback. If they have to go in the game, this is what we're going to run, and this is what we're going to do to be successful. And depending on the situation and the game management, what we do with them and how we do it in their learning curve as they go through fall camp. But my goal is to have them all ready, have 4 quarterbacks ready to play. And it's hard to do that, but at the same boat, I think we could. Xavier Williams has played in games, Timmy McClain's played in games, so they can play in games. We know that. And Dylan Rhys is, again, coming on. So I'm excited where the room's at. We got to continue to build daily and continue to get better. And the hardest thing right now is we're all installing. So we're installing different things every day. And we recap a little bit of day 1, but in day 2 with day 3 and day 4. But we're going into third downs and we're focused on third downs. Well, we're not going to have as much of the normal down situations that we're going to practice. So I said watching film and retaining is going to be huge as we go through this.
So what is then, because Coach Malzahn said that you were going to go through scrimmages to see who's going to be that number 2 QB. You want to have all 4 QBs ready, but what is your methodology going to be for determining what that quarterback picking order is going to be? Who are those? Who's going to be that number 2 quarterback?
The bottom line is, we grade, targets, decisions. They get plus or minuses on every play. Are you doing your job? Are you doing what you're supposed to do? And every play has different decision making that you have to go through as a quarterback. And are you doing that properly? Can we trust you with having the keys to our offense and being able to go out there and go run it? And pushing them to see what limits we can take them to. and then decide, okay, who's the next guy that goes in the game? This is the guy, and this is what we're planning on doing with them. And then the you know, if this something happens to him, okay, the next guy, and then the next guy as far as that goes. But you know, and the thing about it is that, you know, the process is it's not decided after 3 days, and it's not decided sometimes after 20 days. Sometimes it goes into the season, and you see the different lights come on in different situations. The other thing too is playing the game. I mean, you in scrimmages is 100%. You can see the closest version of what you're going to get when you go play a game, and so. Again, we're going to wait till that first scrimmage, and we'll have a second scrimmage, and then we're going to have a lighter third scrimmage to be able to determine that.
All right,
All right,
good,
awesome.
Coach.
Best of luck,
Thank
Coach.
you so much.
Appreciate you guys.
Looking forward.